Okay, everyone, so we're going to kick things off today. Thanks for joining this webinar. On today's presentation, I'm Chuck Danielson, Community Manager at OpenFin, joined today by the CTO of GreenKey, Mr. Tom Shady. Brief outline of what we're going to be covering. First, we're going to talk a little bit about a previous collaboration you may have seen a press release for between OpenFin and GreenKey. Then we're going to explain a little bit about the FTC3, what that means, and how it plays in today's presentation, and then hand things over to Tom for a demo of the FTC3 and GreenKey in action, and then open the floor up to questions. So as for our previous collaboration, a little while ago, GreenKey actually released a JavaScript SDK. It is pretty exciting for us, essentially them embracing JavaScript and web technologies. And in collaboration with our plugin architecture, we were actually able to voice enable a fully OpenFin powered desktop. So just a brief kind of demonstration of that. On the left here, we've got a sample blotter application that we built for demoing purposes on OpenFin. And on the right is just a slice of another desktop. And what you're looking at here is essentially, right-clicking on a user's context and being able to simply create an intercom connection with that other user on the right there. And this was something that we're able to kind of embrace web standards and collaborate pretty seamlessly with GreenKey, which was very exciting. As of late, though, we've been collaborating with them on the FTC3, which is the Financial Desktop Connectivity and Collaboration Consortium. It's an initiative you may have heard of as well. At a high level, the goal of the FTC3 is to create some industry-wide standards and provide reference implementation for interoperability on the financial desktop. Everything is fully open source. The URL I linked to here, ftc3.org, is a great place to kind of get a high-level overview, as well as link to some of these reference implementations and standards that we've worked together to create to today. It's got participation from close to 30 now organizations across finance, and I would definitely check that out. As for the technical focus, and this kind of leads into Tom's presentation today, there's really 4 key pillars. The first is context data, which is essentially a shape of data. Think of it as a data envelope that will be passing from applications to applications that will actually then be used by the intents, the verbs, so to speak, in how this application should process this. These are inspired both by the needs of the industry and things like iOS and Android intents that enable the interoperability you see on your phone today. Then there's an application directory. So if we have these context data and intents, these apps all need to sit in some place where they're both hosted and discoverable. And finally, the APIs to wrap these all together. So if we take all of these and then voice functionality, we can kind of think of a nice workflow that would all tie quite nicely into a presentation from Tom from GreenKey. So at this point, I'd like to introduce Tom. Hand over presenter rights. Tom, how's it going?
Hi, Chuck. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you great.
Thanks for that warm welcome.
You can steal screen share, I believe.
Yep, I am doing that right now. Okay. So I'm going to start with this presentation. First slide showing up okay?
Yep.
Cool, thanks, Chuck. So first I'm going to talk about what we do at GreenKey, why you should use GreenKey, and the main claim to fame for us is our extreme accuracy on real-time voice streams for financial language. We'll talk about how we achieve that accuracy. And then more in the skills direction, I'm going to talk about how you can create your own voice skills using our technology, how to deploy and scale GreenKey in your own data centers. I'll mention our SDK and how to become a part of that program. And I'll talk a little bit about the future direction. But Before we get into that, I want to showcase a demo, which is a short video capturing several different technologies. First is the GreenKey intercom functionality, which is instant push to talk between two users through the browser. It's real-time concurrent communication. And then this is all running inside an OpenFin environment. So you will see real-time transcription of me giving voice commands to our Scribe technology, which then processes that and extracts the voice command from it in the form of metadata, which you'll see in the metadata window. It will then be sending that through the FDC3 specification to JavaScript calls to pass that payload along to other OpenFin applications. So in essence, it transcribes what I'm saying, turns that into an FDC3 command, passes that along to another app, and you'll see that useful for charts, graphs, and research. So without further ado, let me share that video on Zoom. One sec. I'm going to briefly stop sharing and share the video.
Hey, Tom.
Is the audio coming through?
Apple?
Hey, Tejas, give me 5 minutes. I'm going to do.
One technical problem here, of course. There we go. Okay, so this is now a brief 2.5-minute video showcasing several different technologies that I just mentioned.
Hey, Tom. What are your thoughts on Apple?
Hey, Tejas, give me 5 minutes. I'm going to do some quick research on that. Okay, Scribe, pull up some research on Apple. Okay, Scribe, show me a quote on Apple. Okay, Scribe, pull up a chart on Apple. Hey, Tejas, on Apple, I'd say it's a sell right now, but you might want to wait for Q2 earnings to come out.
All right, thanks. What about IBM? What are your thoughts on that?
One sec while I pull up some research. Okay, Scribe, let me see some research on IBM. Okay, Scribe, how about pulling up a quote for IBM? Okay, Scribe, show me a chart for IBM. Hey, Tejas, IBM's making money now, but I'd wait on buying for another quarter.
All right, thanks. See ya.
Cool. So besides showcasing my amazing acting skills, that is, I think, really cool way to see what is possible with OpenFin and GreenKey technology in combination. So now let's talk a little bit about what we do, how and why. So first, there is a link to the video if you'd like to catch it later. These slides will be available for download, so you'll be able to take in that video at your own leisure. So what is GreenKey? So we are a technology company that focuses on real-time voice streams. We collect them through various front-end technologies that we have. We process them using NLP, and we turn that voice stream into data, into text, and then that text into data. That data then allows various uses of enabling voice workflows. You can see here how we're populating a trade ticket. Another example of that is voice skills, as we just saw. It's enabling new workflows for instant, hands-free operation of several different on the financial desktop, as well as a wealth of others. So this is just a small excerpt showcasing that we have a gigantic amount of data that we process and turn a transcript into a large amount of searchable data, allowing you to search through voice streams. It has applications in the front, middle, and back office, and I'll showcase some of those in a little bit. So first, how do we do this? So again, we take the text, which our transcription engine resolves, and move that through a pipeline of AI and machine learning steps. First, we classify that text as one of various product classes or a voice command. They're actually very similar. So whether we're talking about a European government bond or a GreenKey skill, the first step is determining whether it's an instrument or a command. Next, we handle ambiguity very well with a word confusion network. You could imagine, especially with voice and especially with a saturated lexicon like all the different financial instruments, we need to be able to handle that, and that's the third step of our process. Something also that is a major strength of our technology, because it's real time, we actually use context to provide instant correction. A simple example is correcting prices against market data. For instance, the number 14 and 40 are very easily confused by most automatic speech recognition technologies, but by looking up context online, we can refine that with much higher accuracy than just standalone transcription. And we do the same thing with voice commands. So the FTC3 spec has a list of intents and contexts that we can verify against to get extremely high accuracy. And finally, we deliver all of these results via WebSocket in structured JSON, allowing further steps in our pipeline of not only enabling new voice workflows, but enabling other workflows such as trade ticket population, as well as enabling advanced analytics on top of all the rich data that we provide. This is a slide showcasing some of our accuracy versus commodity transcription such as IBM or Bing, all of which are very good at general English. So we keep par with the state of the art on general English, which is about 93 to 95% accuracy. But where we shine is on financial English, where we immediately take a lead over commodity transcription services. And our area of expertise is on really dense jargon, which is quotes and trades in the financial industry. It applies to other verticals. Anytime we need real-time communication with very jargon-heavy, dense, instant communication, this allows our real-time technology to extract that with 98% accuracy. And similarly, this applies to voice commands as well. So how do we achieve that? We have a multi-layered approach that overcomes many transcription errors. Our AI uses a combination of NLP and neural network techniques, along with several of our patented processes, which layer these approaches to get that 98% accuracy on the densest of financial speech. So starting out, as we saw in the last slide, most general transcription engines can receive about 50% accuracy. We have terabytes of domain-specific terminology in our corpora that we train our engine on. We refine that again on the tribal jargon spoken by actual people in the field. And lastly, we extract all of these quotes and trades using our patented asset class interpreters, which does, as again, the context comparison, looking outside the voice stream, but also looking heavily inside it with a combination of NLP techniques. So this is how we're able to go from the 50% accuracy on a dense financial quote to 98%. Another major claim to fame of our technology is that we allow customization by our end customer. So many transcription services are off the shelf, but black boxes. Through a process of language model customization and acoustic model customization, you can see with very little training time, just 20 minutes of training at a customer site, just on the language model, which could be all the proper nouns that people use, names of people in their company, just inputting all of that in text form immediately has a 10% reduction in transcription error. But over time, the major gains are in the acoustic model customization. So off-the-shelf transcription is fine for many use cases, but for something as mission critical as two brokers or traders speaking to each other, or for something as mission critical as when seconds matter for on the financial desktop, most of the gains are over time with very little training, considering the benefit. So with about 12 hours of training on site, we can reduce transcription errors by about 40%. So we're not going to get into code here. I know not everyone on this call is a developer, but I do want to talk about how easy it is to create your own skills using our discovery engine technology. With just 6 to 10 lines of code, you can build your own command interpreter. And this is something we're very excited about. This will really open up a world of possibility with our customer base to allow them to refine their own commands. This is just a quick example showcasing the ability to create driving directions, which would have a command such as what type of transit you're doing and in which direction. The takeaway here is that you do not need data scientists on site to craft your own voice skills. We do that here by providing a framework that allows anyone with some basic scripting ability, as you can see here, to create their own interpreter, upload it into our Docker registry, and actually use it on your own containers on site. So that gets us into how do we deploy and scale Scribe. A major focus of our technology is embracing Docker. We're fully Docker containerized. You can pull images from our own private Docker registry, which allows you to update whenever you would like. We generally push updates about every 2 weeks. And we use Kubernetes to orchestrate all of our containers. Now, this allows you, the combination of those two, to be able to install Scribe and Scribe voice commands on premise. For organizations that wish it, we do have a cloud version, which is our own hosted version of this technology. But for those who want to use their own security policies, who want to retain full regulatory control over all of that financial data, and a voice stream is data, we allow on-premise installation. and we support that deployment method. And finally, we also support error correction and training environments. So we allow improvement over time. We provide you the tools to train your own models. And we also have an SDK that I'll be talking about on the next slide, and we'll have that email address to get more information about our SDK at the end of the presentation as well. So what is the GreenKey SDK? So we've launched, as Chuck mentioned, we started with our Intercom API, which with a handful of JavaScript allows people to embed our Intercom functionality right into their own applications using JavaScript. This allows instant push-to-talk concurrent communication. There's no dialing of the end user. It's instant push-to-talk. We do also support inbound outbound calling through our calling API, which has other functionality like voicemails and transfers. We, of course, allow you to administer your own user base and authenticate however you would like. And lastly, we've added the command API, which allows the execution of voice commands. First, we're supporting the FDC3 specification. Of course, we're big fans of OpenFin, so we will always be OpenFin compatible with these solutions. So what is in the future for us? So first, we're going to complete FDC3 support with our voice commands. As you saw, there was 3 intents supported right now. We will support the full set of 10 initial intents. I highly encourage everyone, if you're interested, to join the FDC3 and weigh in on discussion of what intents and context should be. We will, for instance, be expanding this specification with our expertise in real-time communication to provide several other options for communicating between users. As a part of this, of course, we will be integrating with OpenFin user lists and tying in with the app registry, as they mentioned. Another major step for us will be releasing this discovery engine, which is what we showcased in the Python example, showing customers ability to create their own voice skills using our technology. And again, finally, we welcome everyone to join our SDK community, where we're providing open source front-end widgets and JavaScript libraries to not only voice enable your own applications, but to allow our voice skills to be included as well in your own applications. So, questions? And please, any questions for me or Chuck, now is the time. I'm going to end the slideshow just so Chuck can help share the screen as well.
You can leave yours up, but thank you very much for that. It was really cool to see essentially the 4 pillars, right, that I mentioned with the FDC3 in action. Obviously we linked out to the video, but I encourage anyone, if you do head over to ftc.org, you'll see the context data specification and the intents, and that's exactly what you were parsing from the transcription engine there, and then kind of passing that on to a faux app directory we kind of spun up to actually launch using the API. Very powerful, very exciting. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Chuck. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I will say, I mean, I guess the other part too, so to speak, right? That first phase was actually that web intercom, the SDK that Tom had mentioned. Very kind of easy to get up and running. We do have a question here. We saw one example of a simple equity market lookup, but can we handle complex products and price looks up like an IG bond or interest rate swap? I think that's a Tom question.
Yeah, why yes, of course. What an intelligent question asked by Nader Shwayhat, my CEO. So yeah, one of the cool things about our technology is we're extending our voice commands with detailed financial instruments as well. So this has the full GreenKey technical stack behind it. We will be able to identify dense financial language in the voice command. So this isn't just Alexa, which can talk to you about the weather. This is something that we'll be able to do as Nader asks, price lookups. It will be able to handle very complex financial products all inside the voice interface. Any follow-up questions?
I guess just one, I'll set you up one here, but you mentioned fully Dockerized. I agree, super easy to kind of get up and running. Can you talk a little bit about how, like as an enterprise client, that would look for me to set up my own
Sure.
comms?
So generally speaking, we begin with a POC where we want to show our value proposition as soon as possible. Often POCs use our hosted cloud solution while we get their IT team set up on their own end. We spin up our own cloud using Kubernetes and Docker, and we provide all of those scripts to our customers. So in the enterprise, you're free to orchestrate containers however you like, using whatever technologies you like. We do require Docker, of course. We give access to our private Docker registry to that enterprise customer. They can pull images. As I said, we update them every 2 weeks, so that sometimes more frequently. They can download those new images, test them out in whatever QA environment they like, and deploy them in their own infrastructure, and which of course we support all of the Kubernetes scripts that we supply and provide several different support options.
Very cool. We're happy to field any more questions on kind of either side of the implementation before we wrap up. Sometimes you just get it all right the first time. All right, so that about does it for today. We'll be sharing the links to the videos of kind of all these implementations. Again, check out greenkeytech.com for more details on their side of the tech, and for the protocols and standards that we were using to enable this interoperability, check out ftc3.org. As for OpenFin, keep your eyes peeled or your calendars open. On April 17th, we'll be having a buy-side event in London. The 18th, we have a more tech-centric focused meetup here in New York City at our actual New York City office, talking about a new version of our API and some more features we have coming to our platform. And then in May 15th in London is the next installment of our FinJS series. FinJS is about kind of bringing people innovating in the tech space, specifically with focus on JavaScript, together with people innovating in the financial world. It's been an event we've been a part of for a few years, so please check out our RSVP if you want to participate. And as you just linked in the chat, all details available at openfin.co/events. Thanks again to Tom. Very, very cool demo. I can't say what a pleasure it's been working with the GreenKey team. They certainly are doing some amazing things in this space, and I look forward to see what they have in the pipe in the coming months.
Likewise, Chuck. I think this is a natural partnership, and I encourage everyone to take advantage of all those resources Chuck's mentioned.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye now.